Yo guys, what is up? Can everybody hear me in the stream? Let me know if the audio is good, guys. What's up? What's up? What's up? Can you hear me loud and clear as well? I hope everybody can. I hope everybody's doing well, guys. Been a while, actually Tuesday. Fantastic, glad to hear that you can hear me loud and clear. Dollar is selling off at the moment, actually. Pretty interesting to see. We're seeing further downside push, mainly because inflation came out worse than expected. I have the numbers here on my screen, you can see it. Let's check real quick. So core inflation month on month came out lower, so forecast was actually higher than expected, but we can see the actual inflation is lower than expected at 0.1. Inflation rate month on month was negative. Inflation rate year on year was also lower than expected, and the core inflation rate year on year was also lower than expected. Okay, so interesting to see, guys, because what does it actually mean when these interest rates come out lower than expected? Well, it means that the economy is potentially slowing down, because when we have higher inflation, it means that the economy is running, that there's a lot of demand for products, and therefore the prices of those products are starting to rise. But when inflation starts slowing down, it shows signs of a potentially cooling economy, an economy that is slowing down. So what could the Federal Reserve, which is obviously the National Bank of the United States, with Jerome Powell at the helm of it, what could they potentially do in order to start boosting that economy again? Well, they could potentially lower the interest rates, because low interest rates, what does that mean? It means that money is cheap to borrow. When money is cheap to borrow, what will people do? They're going to borrow money and they're going to make investments. They're going to build houses. They're going to take out loans in order to sustain their businesses, which is in turn good for the economy, good for stocks, and in general, bullish for those risk on assets, and bearish for the dollar overall. So that is kind of like the key message of today's inflation numbers. Hope you guys understand that. If you have any questions at all about that, let me know. How laggy is the camera, guys? Is it still laggy? Because otherwise, what I can maybe do is try and refresh it. But I think that's going to be a little bit difficult. As long as kind of like my mouse here is sinking and we can see here that the dollar is breaking in towards the downside, we should just be good to continue. But let me know where everybody's tuning in from today, guys. Super curious to hear where everybody is. I'm currently in Cyprus here in the trading pit office together with Rutger. Okay, so the camera's lagging a little bit. So it's, oh, I can see indeed. Okay, well, is what it is. Is it lagging the entire time, or is it just sometimes that there's a little lag? Because it's going to be a little bit difficult to reset the camera itself. Oh, the mouse is also quite laggy. Oh, that's sad to hear. Okay, there's a little lag, but at least the voice is doing good. But let me know in the meantime, guys, where's everybody tuning in from today? I see Greece, Bali, Indonesia. I see the United States. Fantastic, guys. Even have Kuwait in the building as well. Welcome to Turkey. Thanks, Berkan. Appreciate you. Pakistan, Ghana, Austria as well. A lot of South Africans as always, guys. Big shout out to you tuning in from South Africa. Appreciate you. So what are we going to do today, guys? We're going to dive into obviously the market updates, see where those pairs are potentially going to be heading next, pretty much that. What I'll just quickly do is I'll just give everybody a few more seconds to tune into this live stream, so nobody misses anything, and then we're gonna just kick it off. So give everybody a few more seconds to dive in, and we're gonna start. In the meantime, hope everybody's doing well. We've had quite the travels. We're all the way back here in Cyprus. We were actually taking a flight from Madrid to Greece, and then from Greece to Cyprus, but then the flight got cancelled, so we had to fly to Amsterdam. Then from Amsterdam we had to fly here to Cyprus again. So it's been quite an eventful few days, but obviously we are managing and we are surviving. I mean, life is still good. Obviously we love traveling, so that's a big benefit of doing what we do. Let's see. Okay, so I'm just going to dive into the market update. Let me know in the chat, guys, if the camera and if the mouse are really too terrible, and otherwise I'm going to see what I can do to fix that. Because I can see indeed that the camera is lagging because I'm actually looking here at the stream on my mobile. Obviously I'm not in the TTA office, so it's always a little bit kind of like difficult to manage everything. But overall, what has happened now for the dollar index is that on the 4-hour time frame, after pushing in towards the upside, we've now seen a break in towards the downside, breaking the overall 4-hour fractal low here. Now again, we've broken market structure again, causing this now pretty much to be your overall supply zone. So I'm mainly just looking for more downside continuation from the dollar in general. Obviously you guys know that I'm bearish on the dollar, but for me it's looking good still to push further in towards the downside and see another sustained push further in towards the lows. Overall for myself, and I can see actually on the camera the mouse is maybe lagging slightly, but it's nothing too bad. We're gonna manage for this stream. Obviously we're not in a Dutch office, but we're gonna have to manage all together, guys. And if there is really any questions that you have, obviously just always feel free to ask me and to tag me in the chat. I'm reading the chat here on my phone, so I'm gonna be able to ping in or tune in with you guys and any questions that you have, or maybe any uncertainties or clarities. Is that what we want to say? So at the moment, kind of like the pattern that I'm seeing here on the weekly time frame with the dollar index is kind of like this AMD play. Again, I don't really use this kind of stuff like accumulation, manipulation, distribution, but for me it is a very clear pattern, and I've talked about it quite a lot here. But we have kind of like this accumulation phase in the period that Trump or before Trump became president, and we had the exact same thing actually back in 2016 as well, where around a year before he became president we also had a very large accumulation phase. Then we had manipulation in towards the highs and then distribution in towards the downside. So I'm looking for a similar play here on the dollar, and still definitely looking for further downside, at least into 99.578 for the dollar. Obviously the dollar is still very, very bearish, or I am very bearish on the dollar, but the dollar itself is also looking pretty bearish. The chart is lag, guys, I know, but I'm gonna have to restart the stream otherwise. I think it's the Wi-Fi. Let me see if I can change the Wi-Fi. I think it's the problem. Let me see, guys. I'm gonna change the Wi-Fi, so I might fall away for a second, okay? Give me 1 sec. Let's see. Okay guys, can you hear me again? Let me know if you guys can hear me again. What's up, Jumbo? How you doing, bro? Jeremy, I think it is, right? Let me see if it's working. Okay guys, can you hear me again? Okay, great. Audio is more important. Yeah, audio is the most important part. So let's see if the chart is working nice and clean again. I think it is actually, from what I can see. Again, I'm looking on my phone as well at the same time. But overall looking for more downside on the dollar, guys. So what does this mean? It means that we should be looking for longs on, for example, Euro USD. Yes, looks good. Okay, fantastic. I think it was indeed a Wi-Fi issue. Fantastic. So Euro USD has been pushing up higher, guys, as expected, right? You guys know it as well. We've been looking for those further longs and those further buys on Euro USD. In line with pretty much just the overall daily trend, right? So if we zoom out a bit, we can see here on euro dollar overall that we had that push up, the retracement push up, the retracement, the push up, the retracement, and now we're just looking for that next push up. A beautiful retracement into discount and in towards that demand. So now I'm not gonna lie, I was actually kind of also interested in looking at the 4-hour time frame. And seeing some equal lows grab. But this is the thing, guys, when momentum is high, the market just tends to go. Like obviously we had these equal lows over here. This would have been like the ideal situation, but as we did discuss, like it could have already gone in towards the upside. So nice to see overall that that internal 1-hour trend is doing its thing. Nice to see this pretty much sell before the buy here acting as demand and being able to push the market up higher. So good on that. Congratulations if you are in those Euro USD longs. Furthermore, what else? Like overall, EURUSD for me is still a clear buy in towards where? In towards the weekly 1.12. You guys know that I'm kind of approaching EURUSD at the moment more like a range play. I definitely think that we're at least going to be taking out these highs very, very soon. So 1.12 is going to be next for euro dollar in my opinion. And I'm kind of looking for this green zone as well to get hit before really thinking about taking any potential shorts. Now, the main reason why EURUSD has been this bullish mainly has to do with the fact, very simply said, that the dollar is just so much more bearish, right? That's why EURUSD has been pushing up higher, and we can see it pretty much across the board. We can see that we have had sells on USD CAD. Now, we discussed these sells, I think it was on Tuesday, or we discussed them on Monday on the daily market update. But what we can see here from USD CAD, and I love USD CAD. Has anybody traded USD CAD by any chance? Because USD CAD has really provided you with very, very good opportunities. Obviously, it was pretty overbought. We had this liquidity high over here. Why is this a liquidity high? Because we have another high right next to it, right here, right? So what happened is that we swiped the highs. Now, obviously, the USD CAD overall was to a certain extent bearish again. So the Canadian dollar gained more strength after Trump announced that Canada was exempt from tariffs. So here we had a fractal high break. Then here we had a fractal low break. So on the weekly time frame, you had a fractal low break. Then what happens is that the buy before the sell is pretty much your area of supply. So this is then your supply zone, the buy before the sell down. Then what happens that from a fractal structure perspective, the market retraced in towards premium pricing. So it rejects again that 0.5 fib. Man, that 0.5 fib is just always playing out. Then on the daily time frame, what did we have as well? We had pretty much that internal liquidity draw as well, right? So we had these highs over here. And then after those, that's not supposed to happen. Then after those highs get taken, so these highs, that's what I'm referring to, we pretty much see that overall internal trend start to play out in towards the downside. I was looking at the 4-hour time frame, to be very, very honest, and I liked kind of like this break of clear structure in towards the downside as well. We were breaking this structure here as well, and then obviously this is like a very important level of support and resistance. If you look at it from a supply and demand perspective, we had a lot of supply over here, and then what happened is, and I loved this supply zone more specifically that we had previously, because what happened with that supply zone is that it took out these two internal highs, it tapped in towards this over here, which again was a supply zone created by liquidity. Again, for anybody wondering, supply zones that grab liquidity before forming are always going to be the strongest form of supply. That's very important to understand. Let me see. Fabio, I've noticed that you're looking slimmer lately. All that screen time for your live streams and daily market outlooks must be burning those calories. Thanks, brother. I appreciate that you think that I'm looking slim, man. I haven't had that in a long time. I think it's also might be because Rutger's pulling me into these long runs all the time. We actually did a 7.5K, I think it was on Tuesday, with a pace of 4 minutes 30 per kilometer, which is a new PR for myself on the 5K. So thanks, brother. I appreciate it. Getting fitter indeed. Anybody who is long indeed on those Canadian dollar or in shorts on USD CAD is doing well. Congrats, Fantasy. Yeah, that was a good one. Do you use the COT reports to do fundamental analysis? Personally not. I'm not a big fan of using COT reports too much. I have looked... Okay, that was not supposed to happen. I'm looking myself back now on stream. Let me quickly see what happened there. I think COT reports not very happy that I said that. Okay, that looked really stupid. The chair, guys, it was the chair. The chair exploded. I don't know what happened there, man. But it's like somebody put a bomb under my seat, man. But that wasn't the case. Yeah, I don't really look too much at those COT reports. I don't look too much at those COT reports. I more just look at inflation, unemployment, interest rates, those kind of things, the things that we discuss every single Tuesday. It was like the break of the chair that, I don't know, I think it kind of like let go. But yeah, USD CAD overall, I mean, the most beautiful shorts that there were. Obviously here on the 4-hour time frame, fractal high break, then again a fractal low break, then again a fractal low break, double fractal low break, and then obviously you have kind of like the buy before the sell being your supply zone over here. You can see it came up to grab some more liquidity, but again, if you take these kind of sells, man, you just always want to be placing your stop loss at a nice safe distance, targeting a new lower low. So yeah, good in or good on you if you are in those shorts, because USD CAD still looks like a good sell in my personal opinion, with the dollar still being extremely weak. Obviously, if we quickly look at what's happening, we can very clearly see that also in the news, Trump is already slowing down global trade as company pulls orders, and we're seeing this back in the charts as well. So I want you guys to kind of like understand the overall picture that is being painted here, okay? So what happens when global trade slows down, okay? It means that companies are expected to make less revenue, and when companies make less revenue, what happens? They're gonna obviously pause orders, they're gonna invest less, and that just slows down kind of like the entire economy. It's kind of like a chain effect, right? When the first car kind of like bumps into a wall, the rest of the cars behind it are also gonna bump into a wall, and that is now happening with global trade. And we're also seeing it back on the charts itself. I think that is the most beautiful part of this trading, because if we look at US oil, for example, you can obviously see that overall big dump in towards the downside here, right? Around a 23% dump to the low that it formed all the way down over here. And the reason that oil then drops just simply has to do with that with the expectation that there's going to be less global trade, and therefore, yeah, less oil required. Because what is oil required for? It's required for products, it's required for trade, it's required for the global supply chains in the world. It's used for everything pretty much. And then obviously if global economic output slows down, oil price, or there's going to be less demand for oil, which is then going to suppress the overall oil price, and that's causing oil to push down lower. Now, looking at some other pairs, I see a question about dollar yen. Drop your pairs in the chat, guys, and we'll have a look at it. Overall, dollar yen has been manipulating a lot. It's why I haven't really been trading too much, because the thing just is, you get in here, and then here you, for example, put stop loss to break even, then it comes back up, grabs like your stop loss if you place it above these highs. Like, the market is manipulating. It's taking the low and it's taking the high. So this is like a very risky time overall to be trading. But overall, I'm still bullish on the Japanese yen as long as this trade war persists. China, guys, China is still not backing down. Like, China, as long as they kind of like maintain this aggressive stance towards the United States, and the United States remains an aggressive stance towards China, the Japanese yen and the Swiss franc are just simply going to be remaining, or they are just simply going to remain strong. And that's why we're currently still seeing a dollar yen push down lower. So for me, I wouldn't be long on the dollar for now, but that's just my personal opinion. Overall, a very hard chart to trade dollar yen, because again, lows taken and highs taken as well. So for myself, I would stay out of that. But what I am looking at is GJ potentially. I was looking at a GJ short as well today with Rutger. Still looking for some further downside to continue the overall momentum lower, because this move kind of like, look, what you would identify here is a demand zone, but you guys know, I've talked about this many times, I don't really trust demand zones where there's no liquidity. Like, when you get a clean push in towards the upside, there's like no liquidity in the overall move up, which you kind of like want to preferably see. So the strongest areas of demand, they're always formed with, let's say, liquidity in the move itself. So or liquidity needs to be engineered. That's kind of like what I'm referring to as well. So if we look at, for example, and let's have a good example for you guys. So if we look at this supply zone over here, this one. So a lot of people would identify this as a supply zone, but then what you see happening is the market, like, it gives a bearish candle but doesn't really react, because there's just no liquidity in the push down itself. So what happens, you liquidate that high and then you get the push down. And the exact same thing here happened, where we had this demand zone, and then you see it kind of comes in, but the difference is that there's engineered liquidity. So here we have two equal lows. You see that? We have two equal lows before the reversal up higher. So that's kind of like what you would want to see in any potential longs here as well. But like on the shorts, I'm definitely looking for shorts. So like if you're looking for longs from this demand zone, like you would need to see some liquidity be engineered. But preferably I'll just look for some further downside on GJ, in towards the lows. And I'm still looking at that on a lot of these yen pairs and Swiss pairs as well. Not really interested in any shorts or any shorts on the yen. So not any longs on GJ, for example. Good afternoon, Leo. Hope you are doing well, mate. Aussie Swiss is what you guys are also looking at. I'm personally staying out of Aussie Swiss. Not a big fan of that at the moment. For me, it's still very, very bearish. Again, it just kind of like took liquidity above the high here. And then you can see grabs liquidity, 0.5 fib retrace, and now just looking for some further downside again, as long as this uncertainty in the world remains. So that's still the trade, in my opinion, and I wouldn't really look for any longs. Obviously, kind of like all these pairs are looking good for longs, okay? In the sense that even if you look at oil, and I discussed this as well this morning, is that you have like this demand zone here, where this is like the overall demand zone, and then you could refine it to, let's say, this here, right? Now, this is kind of like a long that everybody's looking at, but for myself, like it could just be kind of like a little bull trap where we just continue down lower again. Like there is still so much uncertainty, and with this global trade war between the United States and China, like it is still very, very risk off bias at the moment, and there's still too much uncertainty. Also the stock market, like you're not really seeing any follow through. If we look at, for example, the NAS, you can see kind of like the first signs of a potential retracement. And I was reading about this morning as well. I'm not sure if the headlines are still there, but what we can see is yeah, so stock futures drop, dollar weakens as the overall trade concerns persist. So that's just very simply said, super important to understand. For the rest, we also had bad inflation numbers coming out as well, also slowing down of the economy. So the notable cooling in supercore inflation or core services, less housing, coupled with a drop in goods prices, support Thursday's bond rally. So when the bonds rally, it means that there's a risk-off environment. So people tend to take off risk from the market, move their money into safe havens, Japanese yen, Swiss franc, gold, and obviously, the bond market as well, which is government debt, which is pretty much seen as one of the safest investments that you can make, obviously. Let's see, anything else interesting to mention that we can see here. Traders are back to leaning on the Fed for more interest rate cuts, and the lower than forecast inflation print is helping their case. Obviously, lower interest rates, and we've talked about this many times as well, lower interest rates support the overall thought of a weak dollar, and then eventually a stock market that will boom. But until those interest rates are not there, the stock market is not really booming at all. But yeah, Aussie Swiss down 1.75% today. Aussie dollar seems to be pushing a little bit, but not very clean setup, not long on that. GU had a nice push up. EURUSD it's kind of like at this resistance, still a little bit messy. I mean, overall, I am still looking for shorts on the dollar, so I'm kind of tending to see what is the best opportunity. USD Swiss already made its move down. Let's see, is it nearly at the lows? Yes, it is. I was looking at USD Swiss. Remember, we discussed this one on, I think it was Tuesday. We can see that we're nearly at this low. So maybe if we take out that low, a potential retracement again. But again, that would be dependent and reliant on the fact that there's going to be somewhat of a trade deal between China and the United States. Because guys, as soon as there is somewhat of a deal between the United States and China, that is the moment where you're going to see the United States dollar rally. And that is also the moment where you're going to see the New Zealand dollar rally, you're going to see the Australian dollar rally, and you're going to see the Canadian dollar rally as well. And then you're going to see a lot of weakness from the Japanese yen and the Swiss franc as well. Blessing, I'm still here. Euro GBP, German 40. GU is the best opportunity. A sell is forming. Let's have a look at GU. So the thing with GU at the moment is everybody is looking for a sell from, and I think assuming this daily area of supply. Personally, I'm not a big fan of those GU sells yet. Again, because the dollar is so bearish. In these kind of market conditions, for me, it's better to let go a bit of those technicals and focus a little bit more on the fundamental side of things. And as long as the dollar is bearish, it doesn't make sense to sell pound dollar yet, because again, the dollar is just not that bullish at the moment. What I'm looking at in terms of opportunities is more, I would say, like the NZD JPY shorts, for example. I'm also looking at AUD JPY shorts, maybe AUD Swiss shorts still as well. I'm liking what I'm seeing here on the 1 hour time frame at the moment. I think this is one of my top picks for now, AUD CHF shorts. I've been looking here at the daily time frame. Obviously, we've had a very big impulse in towards the downside last Wednesday, and we've now retraced in towards the 0.5 fib. We have now grabbed the internal high over here. So this internal high got grabbed. So liquidity has been pulled, and I'm now looking at the 1 hour time frame, and we also have the shift in the market structure. This is now your supply. So let's see, we're engineering some liquidity over here. If we look at the 15-minute, so what I'll look for is kind of like maybe a push up into this supply zone over here, and then look for shorts from there on the bearish confirmation. What do you guys think to kind of like fill this news move up and take out this equal lows over here? Anybody a good opinion on those Aussie Swiss shorts, guys? Any opinion on that, guys? AUD CHF sells. Yeah, I'm also not looking at those Euro USD sells at the moment, man, just because the dollar is, for me, one of the most bearish ones of them all. Fundamentally, it just doesn't make sense, man. I'm like, guys, you really need to get Bloomberg, man, because you can just follow all of the market updates here. We just had the worst numbers in terms of, here you can see it. We just had the worst numbers in terms of inflation come out. You can see inflation year on year, CPI, so month on month inflation, and the core CPI as well. All numbers on inflation were bad, and I mean, when inflation is bad, guys, that just means one thing. It means potential rate cuts coming up, especially also with the uncertainty within the stock market, and definitely not yet that follow through in towards the upside on the stock market. Interest rate cuts are seeming like an increased probability, and again, that's also what all the analysts are currently looking at. So let's see. I mean, if Friday again, the core PPI numbers, so producer price index, so the CPI is inflation on a consumer side, and the PPI is inflation on a producer side. If the PPI is also bad, because most of the times PPI is kind of like the leading indicator. Remember from the previous inflation session that we discussed, PPI is kind of like a leading indicator for CPI, because why? If the producer price index goes up or down, so if there's no inflation on the producer side of things and it starts dropping, then eventually the consumer inflation will also start going down, because consumer inflation lags behind producer inflation, which kind of makes sense if you think about it. Because if, for example, wood from a factory becomes, let's say, less expensive, then eventually, well, you guys understand what I mean. Let me just put it that way. Let's just go back to the charts and talk some more potential trade opportunities, because Aussie Swiss looks like a good potential trade, guys. Euro GBP, a lot of manipulation going on. Not a big fan of that pair at the moment. Euro AUD dropped. Euro CAD, very messy. One of the most rangy pairs actually at the moment. Would definitely stay away from that as well. Let's see. Fabio, would you mind breaking down how the AUD CHF short would play out? I just drew that in, mate. So if you check that one, you'll understand. Fabio, are you currently in any trade? No, guys, I'm not in any trades. Obviously not. Why? Because we're manipulating. We're manipulating the highs. We're manipulating the lows. We're taking highs and lows everywhere. So for me, it is ideal to stay out. Like, a lot of potential trade opportunities have kind of arisen on the news announcement of yesterday that there was going to be a 90-day tariff kind of like relief. But this is more kind of like just a potential temporary relief, because the overall underlying stress of the economy and the issues that are kind of like pursuing from this stress, these are still very alive. Like the trade war between China and the United States, this is still kind of like the hot topic. Trump just saying 90-day relief for some tariffs, like on countries that did not retaliate, like it's the smaller part of the puzzle, okay? The bigger part of the puzzle is between the China and the United States, the two largest economies in the world. Obviously, this is going to affect the entire world, because they are also kind of like the two main trading partners of the world as well. Like, all products are made in China, and the United States is obviously the reserve currency of the world. So this is going to imbalance the entire economy and has the most detrimental effect of it all. So we can see here, obviously, like on Euro Swiss as well, like you can see here the 4-hour change of character, like a low break and then a high break, and then yes, we have a demand zone over here. So I mean, traditionally you could then look for a long position, but then again, you're trading against the current fundamental bias, so it could just continue chopping, okay? So just keep that in mind, that these kind of like reversals are appearing everywhere. Like the same is on AUD JPY. Like normally I would also agree with you guys, like I like this setup over here, okay? This potential long setup where we have a low sweep, and this is then your demand zone. Refine that demand zone, and you have these two imbalance candles. Like this is obviously the kind of like the typical long that you would want to take with your stop loss underneath the low and then targeting a new higher high. But like from a fundamental perspective, at the moment, a trade like this just doesn't make sense. Could it play out? Yes, obviously it could. But does it make sense? No, not really, because this current market is just driven by those fundamentals, okay? About AUD CHF, let's just go back to that chart. I'm gonna have a look what the question is whilst I have the chart open over here. Let's see. So Fabio, about AUD CHF, will you wait for confirmation, or taking the liquidity there is enough to take the trade? So taking the liquidity is pretty much enough, but like in a scenario like this, guys, don't be like an idiot. Like I would preferably look for a setup like this, and then moreover kind of like this, you know, like this is kind of like the setup that I would take. So I wouldn't trade it like this, like I would trade it like this, something like that is a potential trade that I would take. What else? Yo, what's up, Delhi? Hope you are doing good. Okay, we can have a look at gold as well. What is happening on gold? And Thoria, thank you for the appreciation, always means a lot. Yeah, we even recorded the market outlook all the way from the airport as well. That was pretty chaotic, but I managed to upload the video whilst I was walking towards the plane, so that was pretty crazy. But looking here at gold, gold is currently still flying up higher. Looking at the 4 and the 1 hour time frame. So on the 1 hour, I'm not a big fan of these longs yet. Looking at the 15, I mean, gold is also so messy, man. Like what I would prefer to look for is at least a retracement in towards this demand zone, maybe another drop off, and then before looking for any longs. Still, again, we're forming a lot of ascending lows. Like this is so ugly. So longs for gold are getting riskier and riskier. But yeah, longs on gold are getting riskier and riskier. Where are we trading? We're trading again already near an all-time high. Like obviously, I'm looking for another push up higher on the all-time high. That for sure. But let's see, yeah, looking for another push up higher. Like inflation though, do you understand, like gold is seen as an inflation hedge. So let's say if inflation would have come out higher, that would have been bullish for gold, because when inflation is high, people tend to buy gold. But obviously now with the risk that is going on in the world surrounding tariffs, gold is still very, very bullish. That's why it's holding up so well, for anybody wondering. Are you a swing trader or a scalper? I'm a swing trader, if you want to call it that way. I trade the higher time frame together with the fundamentals. Obviously, I do also, or have also many times traded the 15-minute time frame or the 1 hour time frame, but I tend to focus a little bit more on the higher time frame nowadays, especially with like current market conditions. For me, that just works a lot better. Okay, so we're now seeing some volatility come in. Let's have a look. USD. But I mean, what are the trades that you guys are looking at, guys? Again, for me, there's a lot of uncertainty here on the charts. What are the pairs that you guys are looking at? In the meantime, guys, by the way, you can see where we are at. Does anybody see where we're at? Yeah, you can see the name in the background. We're here at the Trading Pit office in Cyprus. That's actually where I'm streaming. That's why I have these nice lights on me and I'm not sitting behind my normal desk with the Amsterdam view. I've attached a link here in the chat. From now onwards, we agreed with them, every single live stream we're allowed to give away a $20,000 challenge, actually. A challenge that we're just going to give live away on every single stream. We're going to start next Tuesday. So if you want to have an opportunity to win, all you need to do is sign up to the kind of like the affiliate link that we have pinned here in the chat. The only reason is, yeah, so we know who can enter the competition. So yeah, making an account literally costs 1 minute, but then you have entered the potential giveaway for these $20,000 accounts. So yeah, we're allowed to give away one $20,000 account every live stream. I'll just do it here on the stream, and then anybody who's active inside the chats will have the opportunity to win. But like the only condition is you need to make an account with that link, so we can track who's participating. A tour around the office. We're creating a vlog, guys. We're creating a vlog. The vlog is going to be really, really nice. So Rutger is kind of like the boss of the vlog at the moment. I'm making sure that he vlogged everything. We also did an interview with their risk team of them, and we also did an interview with their marketing team, and we're also going to do an interview with their CEO.
Guys, what's up? It's the Trading Pit Christmas.
So Rutger has come here to give away something, I guess.
Guys, we have big news because we're officially partnering up with the Trading Pit, and that means we'll be giving away challenges every week during the stream. So what you need to do is sign up with the ref link, which is pinned in the chat. Sign up and we will give away accounts every week, and we'll give different instructions for that. But make sure to sign up, and we'll be doing a lot more with this amazing company. So let's go and enjoy the stream, guys.
Yeah, guys. Okay, well, you've heard it. Make an account through the link in the chat, and then maybe, who knows, Rutger will come to your house wearing a purple wig and do very amazing things, like giving away a challenge, obviously. Yeah, that was funny. Okay, back to the charts, man. Silver. Okay, I see a lot of you also talking about silver. What affects silver and causes it to move? So, guys, like silver, I'm not too heavy into commodities, to be very honest, or into metals. But silver is pushing up higher again. Nice to see here on the 4-hour time frame. After sweeping a lot of liquidity. Yeah, so silver is actually a nice long in my opinion. I think silver is lagging behind gold. Not entirely sure. Like, I think silver mainly got hit on those tariffs. But look, if we look at silver, like, it's very nice because what happened here is that we swept these two lows, as you can see. After the low sweep, we see a reversal. Then we go to the 4-hour time frame. You see the change of character. Then you see this demand zone here playing up. Then if we look at the 1-hour time frame, you can see here that we swipe the lows, right? So we swipe the lows over here. So this is what I mean, like you never really want to be buying on the initial reaction when there's no liquidity in the move. And then you see here, low swipe, and then here we see change of character high broken, and then you see pretty much that entire demand zone then pushing the market up higher. So yeah, I mean, gold looks interesting for the longs. Would definitely also agree with you guys. Fabi, do you have a doppelganger who break dances on TikTok? No, I don't. Let's see. But yeah, no, I agree. Also looking for some more longs on silver, guys. Looking for a potential higher rebound from silver. That's for sure. Looking for more longs. I agree. I think it kind of like had this beautiful trend line here. Lol. This is what I also love about trend lines always. Nice takeout of that trend line. So definitely looking for some more upside on silver in the immediate future. I agree. USD CAD we already discussed. USD CAD still looking good for the downside. Yeah, definitely for the sells. What else are you guys looking at, man? GPAUD, I know some of you are looking at longs. I think I'm not really interested in longs. Like, I did like the fact that on GA we had kind of like triple lows here. And after taking those triple lows, what happens? We have this demand zone over here that we tap into. Then here on the 4-hour time frame, we swipe this low, and this is now the fractal high. So it needs to really show some more bullish momentum before any long opportunities at all. But to be honest, I would definitely want to wait with going long on GPAUD itself, just because I don't really see any real opportunity just yet. Like, the overall 1-hour structure is still bearish. If we would want to take any long opportunities, then we would need to wait for this high to break, and then you could potentially look for potential longs. But at the moment, it's still just very, very bearish. Also, from a fundamental perspective, it doesn't make sense yet to look for it does make sense to look for potential longs on GPAUD, but it needs to break the 4-hour fractal high first, okay? So that's what I would say. EURUSD longs also make some sense. I think, EURUSD and GPAUD longs make some sense, guys. Sorry for being a little bit chaotic. But yeah, I think indeed from this demand zone, like, you look, EURUSD has already done what GPAUD still needs to do. So yeah, look for some potential longs from these pairs, man. The only thing, some potential longs could play out. Keep your eyes open for that, I would say. USD JPY already discussed, not really interesting, kind of like manipulative at the moment. Euro GBP is, I think, similar. I think, let me see, Euro GBP is similar still. Look, the thing with Euro GBP is, like, if you look here at the weekly, like, it took out a lot of highs. It also took out this high over here. It tapped into this weekly imbalance, which is supply. So some shorts could start playing out. But the thing is, again, the euro is just too bullish from a fundamental perspective at the moment. This drop off on euro here, on Euro GBP, what did it come from? It came from the news announcement that tariffs were to be postponed. So what can you now understand from this single bearish candle here is that Euro GBP will drop when what? When the sentiment changes from a risk off into a risk on environment. So at the moment, the sentiment is what? It's risk off. So it doesn't make sense from a fundamental perspective to be looking for shorts here just yet. Only when there is more kind of like a downplaying, or there's like a cool down or a resolution with this trade war between China and and the United States. Okay, so yeah, keep that in mind. Therefore, I'm not really interested in Euro GBP shorts personally. I'm more interested still in Euro longs in this situation. So yeah, Euro still pumping, looking for this high to get taken out next. Yeah, still bullish on it, and still and always will be. Low have been for such a long time. So good to see it pumping. 1.12 should be next. Let's see it take those highs. Euro USD taking 1.11, and then New York getting it down to Asia low. For me, like the way I see it, doesn't make too much sense at the moment, just because market structure is still so bullish. Like, I would only be looking for a short, maybe if you kind of like take out this high here. Obviously, from like a 15-minute swing perspective, that could cause it to pull back. Pretty overextended move here, fundamentally driven again. But yeah, I trade in line with those fundamentals, so I don't really want to be shorting it at all, just because it's too bullish. It's just really too bullish. CAD Swiss. What are you looking for on CAD Swiss? CAD Swiss, you're probably looking for a long, I assume. On WTI crude, I'm still looking for shorts. On WTI crude, I'm looking for shorts. Hey family, do you have a Discord VIP signals? Link in the description of this video, guys. But yeah, let me quickly check anything else interesting or noteworthy to mention. I mean, we discussed the most important part, right? That was that inflation dropped. So here, the latest CPI number was the best inflation figure asset markets could hope for after last week's tariff-related volatility. It will help allay the worst fears about pre-tariff levels of inflation and reinforce those betting on the future rate cuts after a historic jump in rates. That's supportive of bonds in the near term, but longer-term stagflation is still a big headwind. Let me see. One more note on eggs. March should be the peak, bearing any major bird flu outbreaks. Not interesting for you guys, I think. Let's see. Here's a graphical look on year-on-year supercore services inflation, which is pretty much back to a pre-COVID-like pace. Theoretically, services prices ought to be somewhat sheltered from tariffs impacts. Okay, so these are services industry, the services industry. Okay, so interesting. Let's see. Let's wait. I'm waiting, guys. I'm waiting. Need some more certainty, but for now, dollar still down. So what does that mean? I mean, Euro USD longs are kind of like still the only thing that I'm still interested in. Yeah, today it should take out the dotted line, obviously, and looking for more longs on that. For the rest, I'm looking for shorts on USD CAD still in towards the downside. I'm also looking for some more. USD Swiss made its move. USD JPY kind of made its move as well. For me, like, I would also be happy to look for some more shorts on USD yen. Like, this is what I'm looking for on a lot of these pairs. Like, like you can see dollar yen, it's like it's mirroring the move of yesterday. Now it's in demand, so obviously you see this one bullish candlestick. Like for me, this is like I don't want to say like an easy trade, but like it's gonna take out this stop loss here in my opinion. So I wouldn't be surprised, because here you have like equal lows. So for me, I wouldn't be surprised if it just does this. Obviously it could pull back first, but I'm looking for shorts on dollar yen still either way. For me, dollar still bearish and yen still very, very strong. So dollar yen shorts make sense for myself. Is playing long on EURUSD the wise move? Yes, but you would need a good entry. Let's see, views on Euro CHF. Euro CHF. Yeah, Euro CHF is a pair I wouldn't personally want to trade at the moment, just because you're trading kind of like two strong currencies against each other. So the plays are definitely again like on those risk off, kind of like against the risk on. So like an AUD CHF, that is a much better option in my personal opinion. So if it does push up a little bit higher, I'll be looking for those shorts. GU is a little bit ugly in my opinion. Again, still as we discussed earlier. Like I know a lot of you are looking for shorts, but yeah, like you probably are looking at this supply zone here on the 4 hour, which is a supply zone within the daily with these two equal highs above it. But yeah, I mean a short-term short, I wouldn't swing it, but yeah, short-term short could play out. Just not really my kind of like cup of tea. But yeah, if it does kind of like match your criteria, a short does make sense mechanically speaking. But I'm just too bearish on the dollar at the moment. Is GBP fundamentally weak at present? It's more neutral, I would say. It's more neutral. Like they're not that badly exposed against tariffs as a lot of other countries, but it's more neutral. Definitely kind of like where you want to be on in this kind of market condition is like on one of the extreme sides, and that's risk on and risk off, and then in the middle you kind of have more like the pound and the euro, whereas on like the risk off side, again, you guys know what pairs those are, and then on the risk on side, and then you want to be trading those two against each other, and not necessarily the neutral pairs. But yeah, guys, make sure to leave a like on the stream, by the way. I haven't even mentioned it today. We need more likes on the stream. Yeah, I mean, Aussie yen is also nice for some more shorts. Not looking for this long, by the way, but looking for some more shorts. Yeah, looking for some more shorts. Looking for some more shorts. Looking for some more shorts. But yeah, okay guys, that's it for today. Not a lot of opportunities yet. We're still in that risk off environment. So just make sure to check that and keep an eye on that. If you guys have any questions, as always, yeah, I'll be active inside Discord, sharing some more updates with you there. Again, I'm out of the market for now, still waiting, but the only opportunities that I really see are kind of like more of those EURUSD longs, and then maybe the AUD CHF short. That does look interesting. So again, yeah, looking for that AUD Swiss short and a potential EURUSD long position. So monitor this AUD CHF for the downside. Let's see how that reacts when it comes into supply, and for euro dollar, definitely more upside still. So yeah, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Wish you all a fantastic trading day. We'll speak very, very soon inside Discord. As always, make sure just to leave a like on the stream, and yeah, on Tuesday again, we're going to be back with another presentation, a fundamental presentation for you all. Thanks guys, appreciate you taking the time to come on the stream here and speak to you